ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته وحوي أنا حطنا أنت دوكتين واحد لنا أوفر جروب وكوميونتي سنتر وي dadkeena area degan oo dhan waa community-ga ay loo sameeyay Ottawa City ay u sameeyay inaan anagu aan ku qabsano ama aan wax ka qabsan karno anu waxaan kamid ahay marka ururkan baan kamid ahay waxa weeye first president ma ka hay ina kan Rawlson waxa weeye waa presidentga association overgroup website bay leeyihiin waxa weeye halkan intaan Soomaali ku deganay wadootii waxba kama qabsano marka hadda sadraadeed baan inaan waxaan doonayaa ogaati inay halkan inoo furan tahay ay meesheenii ay tahay oo ina xitaa waxaan cagna naga qaaday ahayn oo annagu aan leenahay marka waxaan ninka aan halkan nii soo horjoogsaday horta arrimaha wadatii waa arrimihii mataqaanaa danteena kale laakiin waxaan rabay in dhowr kalmadood ni yidhaahdo leesh ninkii hore halkan joogi jiray Toby looga jiray consularka yaa ka baxay hawada oo wuxuu galay shaqo kale marka 17 qof baa soo dhigay inaad ogtiin kala mooyay saddex baa madooba soo kamid yahay marka inta kalena waa cadaan marka waxaan nidhi warqaale dadkayga laba kalmadood saddex kalmadood afka siriga hadhow tola duu karo si aan gaan danteena looga qabsan karno leesh aqal kastoo la qaraaco haddaad $50 $100 loo tago waxay faa'iido tahay mid laakiin sirigu maanta laba ambulance baan u baahanaa dadkeena uga baahan haddaan idhaahdo waxbay noo qabanaya marka waxa weeye waxaan u baahanahay dad afkeena ku hadla oo meel kastoo ay dowladdu ka hadlaysaba noo joogadi saa daraaddeed yaa nagu soo dhaweeyay halkan thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. My name is Rawlson King. I'm running to become your next city councillor here in Rideau Rockcliffe because I really believe that we need to have representation around the table. So I come from a family that's also an immigrant family, came from the West Indies in the 1960s. They came to this country. They had qualifications like the majority of probably the people in this room. The qualifications weren't actually recognized. So they came as teachers. And it was interesting because they came from a British colony in the West Indies where they were taught at a black university. So guess what? Their final papers, you know, the British wouldn't have accepted the black professors marking their final papers. So their final papers went to Cambridge and then came back. And then they both got their teaching certificates. And they came back to this country, immigrated to this country. They were sponsored by my uncle. And guess what? They couldn't get jobs in this country. And it's something that it's a universal kind of experience for most immigrants in this country. So my mother ultimately ended up working at a bank. My father ended up working on the railway because my uncle sponsored us, and he was a porter on the railway. Fast forward to today, and you open the Citizen or you open the Toronto Star, and what do you see? The first job my mom had after having all of this Cambridge education was to work in a factory in Toronto. And now you open papers, the Toronto Star, they're doing exposés on immigrants who are coming to this country with qualifications, and guess where they're working? In factories. So I think this really shows that we haven't moved as far forward as we need to. And the way to do that is to have voice around the table. We need black people around council tables. We need them in Parliament. We need them at Queen's Park. And that's why I'm appealing to you. It's an emotional appeal. I think that we need to have people who actually understand the immigrant experience around the table advocating for you. So that's one of the reasons why I'm running. I'm running on the typical things. We have bad roads, we have bad transit, we don't have enough social services, but I know what resonates for me being the son of immigrants, that we want to ensure that not just our children have a better future, but that people who come here, when I'm knocking on doors, they're telling me the same stories, and I have to say, I commiserate with you. This has been going on since probably the beginning of the country. I think that's unacceptable. I think it's time for us to see some real change around the table. That's why I'm asking you to vote, if you can, on Monday. If you live here on Monday in Ward 13, please vote King so that we can move the agenda forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. أبغى ما ستين كان متخلّي ده بيجينا نسيشين لوج لكن متخلّي وتقولوها آد واحد أيام مقلنا ذلك حالك الأريا ذكر إلى أفوت أيام بالوضع تصور كيسة مجلسة إلى سفر عنه إيجان ليش وصدق مدو لكن بالوجهي لكن قبلنا يلا واسكتجي لكن سي نيكل حالك مكية هي كوميونيتيكا من الله ما كان بعنا بلاش ملوك ولا ينام سويسرا مركا وحوي شنطة السنة شنطة ورا بسير كل سنة معلم الناس كوبوكاها مركا ودريمي شيء يعني إن أبو بحنا يدت أنا كنا قبل إني هالكن نو هذا هذا المسجد